Hello everybody and welcome to another tutorial. My name is Stress and today I will be teaching you how to make a working car. We're going to start out in a simple environment and later I will show you what the car looks like in a full level. The first thing I'm going to go ahead and get is an NPC for my level, so I'm going to go ahead and click on the prefabs. I will choose the characters and then I'll just click any character. For this one I will choose the kid. Now I already want my character to be in a sitting position so that when I make my car, the character can actually steer it. And to do that, I'm going to set each position. I'll just click position left arm and then I can move the arm around and I want it right here. Position right arm right there. Now we move the left leg like so and the right leg like so and the head is fine. That'll do for now. The next thing we are going to do is draw the body of the car. We're going to do that with the poly drawing and we're going to make sure that it is body selected. So for starters, now the most important thing is just to have a sort of seat around my character so he stays in place. We're going to include a steering wheel as well, so you can grab that. That is going to be the first part of my shape. Already kind of looked like a car, but with nothing on it. We're going to draw over the character now. Now I'm going to go and draw the frame from the car of the outside. It is going to be a bit of a wonky car, but you know, we work with it. I'm not happy with how uneven my car is, so I'm gonna go ahead and adapt a few things here before we get started on the art. I'm going to make sure that all of my shapes are not static, so I'm gonna uncheck that, and then everything is gonna fall apart. Now, if that happens to you, that is exactly what's supposed to be going on. Let me put my car in a color that I want. In this case, we're gonna turn it from gray to a nice blue over here. Next up, I'll be selecting the pen tool, and with the pen tool, I'll be making some extra art on my car. I will select the car color. I'm going to go ahead and fill everything in that doesn't necessarily need to be seen. Complete my shape. And there you go. Next I'm going to go ahead and grab the pen tool and we're going to select a little lighter color like this. So on the top and on the left I'll be making sure that there is some lighter blue there. Now we're going to do the exact opposite on the bottom of the car where it's going to be a little darker. Now I'm going to go ahead and draw some details. For example, the handle of the door right here. And I'm going to add a mirror. And there you go, it's the basics of my car. So right now if I test my level, the shape should be falling out and the art should be staying in the air. As you can see, that is perfectly normal. What we're going to do now is we're going to grab our character and move him out. And we're going to select the entirety of our car. And we're going to set group objects. Move it around to make sure that you got every single object. If you miss something, it's probably floating in the air still, but I got everything, so I'm going to place my car back. Now I'm going to put them back together, and as you can see, it's falling and it's working. Now the character in the car instantly starts bleeding, as you can see. I think it's kind of funny, but what we can do to prevent that is set the character to invincible, which means that pretty much nothing can happen to him at all. You can also set him to non-interactive, but I mean... Right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to add wheels, and there's a really simple way to do this by going to geometry, selecting the circle shape and just drawing a circle like that. We're going to go ahead and go to visuals, make our circle dark gray, press C to copy, and one circle goes here, one circle goes here. If you want your circles to be at the exact same height, what you can do is click both of them and check the Y. So this Y is on 28 and this Y is on 30, so I'm going to go ahead and move this one to 30 and press enter. There you go. Now they're at the same height. Let's go ahead and select our wheels. Hold shift to select both of them. We're going to go ahead and uncheck static. And now we have two working objects. And as you can see, if we test our level now, it's going to start to look like a car, but it's not necessarily connected. Well, that's where the join tool comes in. The join tool allows us to connect the wheels to the car. What we're going to do is we're going to select a wheel tool right here. And we're going to go ahead and click on this wheel right here and this wheel. And by zooming in and clicking on the wheel, we can make sure that this pin is exactly in the middle of the wheel. If you don't place your pin in the middle, what is going to happen is that the wheel is going to start making this weird motion. If you would like to go for a car that doesn't drive itself at all, then at this point you are done. However, what we are going to do is we are going to make sure that the car can actually drive, so we're going to go ahead with this tutorial a little longer. For starters, let's select the first joint and go to enable motor. I'm just going to go ahead and click it. My max motor torque is going all the way up so that we have a powerful motor. And you can play around with the motor speed, anything you want. Wow, this character really is dying in there, isn't he? Let's see what happens if we enable the motor and move it like all the way up to 100. Yeah, okay. That is a pretty powerful motor. The final thing I would like to show you is the spring section of the motor. You can find it right here under the spring tab, and the first thing you're going to notice is frequency hertz and the second one is damping ratio. Now spring is basically just another word for bounciness. As you can see, if I test my level right now, my car slightly bounces. If I were to put both of them on a spring of 1, this car is really going to bounce. And if I were to put it on, let's say 10, it is not gonna bounce at all. It is very stiff. Damping controls whether your wheel locks back into position or not. So if it's set to 0, it's just gonna bounce and wiggle around a little bit. As you can see, like 1, 2. And then it goes up and down a little bit. But if I move the damp all the way up to 1, the wheel is going to bounce once, snap back into position, and never bounce again. As you can see, bounce, and that's it. So damp is a very subtle way to control spring. To give you some more tips and tricks, I pasted the car into the level I made previously, and now you can see it driving off here. What I'm going to show you is how to make your car stand still and then make it drive off as soon as you touch it. The way we're going to do this is select everything and then uncheck awake. However, if we select everything at once, because we're selecting different properties, this isn't going to work. We need to click the NPC first and uncheck is awake. For the car, it's basically the same thing. We just select all the parts of the car. We go to advanced and then we uncheck awake. Alright, it's set to sleeping. I gave it some more speed. So now if we touch it, it's gonna take off like a rocket. Poor kid. He's probably having a bad day in there. And there he goes to the skies. And that was our car tutorial for today. I hope it helped you, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.